Now, this week, rather than focusing on one Energia All-Ireland League team, we are delighted to say that we are joined by Corcon's top try scorer of all time, a man who's gotten up at 6 o'clock in the morning in Sydney, Australia to join us and defend himself for being described as the most annoying rugby player to ever play AIL rugby by Dennis Foggs and maybe us over the last few weeks. Cronan Healy, welcome to the show.
Thanks very much, lads. And I think we can add Australia in there as well now at this stage.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I'm well on my way to getting an Oscar at this stage.
I didn't realise how just mentioning your name would land, like, or not even mentioning your name, just describing you, because we had Foggs on a couple of weeks ago, and then Barry put me on the spot and was like, "What's your memories of Cork Con?" And I was there. There was this winger, bald fella, socks down, like real GA kind of look, socks down around his ankles, and everybody's like, "I know exactly."
It clicks. The penny dropped.
Yeah.
I must say I did have that innate ability to get underneath people's skins.
Yeah, well, did you listen to the episode with Foggs? Because we got a message off a few of your mates going, you need to get this man here to defend himself, because Foggs, so what did he say you did? You placed the ball on the post.
Yeah. We were playing Clonakilty in the Charity Cup, and it was just one of those games. I got an interception sort of a thing, and for some reason it was always at the back of my mind, I always want to score by placing the ball against the post. But like back in those days, it was never really a done thing. And like I was never aware of this sort of against the base of the post. So then, I had probably 10 seconds to think about it as I was running from halfway line. And like the whole sort of image of my head was a lot better than the reality. And so then when I eventually got to the post, I just clattered it against the top of the post, and everybody just stopped and was sort of, because not many people followed me because it was an interception. People just went back to the for the restart, and everybody turned around and they were like, "What happened?" And the ref there is just going, "Knock on, scrum." So it was a bit embarrassing.
So you thought they were gonna love this. Wait till the crowd's gonna go mad. Yeah.
I had the images of telling the story up against the bar after the game and everything.
So he didn't give the try. I thought he'd actually give him the try.
He gave a knock on.
Did you try?
You're you're like the George Best of the All Ireland League. So like, didn't he have this? He always wanted to dribble the ball around the goalkeeper and then head the ball over the line.
Yeah.
And he never got to complete his vision, but you did.
Yeah, I did. Hopefully without the drink problem though on my side, if you're comparing me to George Best.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, I've a lot of memories playing against you. I'm not sure what your memories of me are. First time I ever played against you, I dislocated my shoulder trying to tackle you down in Cork On, and it was trying to hold on to you despite you of being small stature, incredibly strong and powerful, and unbelievable feet. Like what was take us back to your early days. Was it con from underage for you, or how did you
no?
I
started in Highfield. So like, I suppose the rugby fraternity in Cork is very small. So there's an overlap with everybody. Like if you equate the school system in Cork to Limerick, there's only 2 real rugby playing schools in Cork, while you have a number 3 or 4 up in Limerick. It's a lot smaller for the size of it. So you have a crossover with everybody. So I started in Highfield, and people that would have been on my team would have been Conor Quaid. Not too sure if you remember Conor Quaid. So I started with Quaidy, played up to under 12s, then went to Prez. Was in Prez then with Conrad. So I sort of grew up with Conrad. I would have played GA with Conrad at underage with our divisional side. So I knew Conrad for years, and then we grew up in Prez playing rugby together. After Prez, then I repeated my leaving cert and did a year playing with Highfield. I went back to Highfield and played a year with them in the AIL and under 20s. Then I have a bit of a journeyman now. How long do we have? After that, I went to Sundays Well. I went to UCC first for my first year in uni. Did a year there, then did 2 years with Sundays Well after that. And then I went to Con after that, and then stayed with Con. Obviously got a lot of money out of all the transfers. But a bit of a journeyman, but very enjoyable through all those different clubs.
I think everyone associates you with Con, and I think that was a beautiful era of AIL rugby as well. Like when 2002 or 3 was it when you would have signed with Con? And then you left in 2011. Was it you were moved to Australia?
2010. So I came over here. Actually, it's my 10-year anniversary is tomorrow.
Oh, cool. And did you play rugby over there when you went?
Yeah, so I played Shoot Shield the first year I came over with Ranwick, and didn't really enjoy it, and I went travelling a bit, so it was a bit of in and out, and then once I came back from that, I just played Kentwell Rugby, so that's sort of one layer below Shoot Shield, but there's a big bridge between what Shoot Shield would be offering what Kentwell Cup would be offering. So played with Kentwell, managed to get onto the New South Wales team, and where you play Queensland and the Australian Army. You have those type of games. So I did that for a few years, and actually still playing now with my local side in Bondi.
Oh God!
Yeah, and people still hate me. Instead of being the small annoying person, I'm now the old annoying person.
That's a far cry from an AIL match. And where did you say that one was? Clonakilty was there, or Crosshaven?
Yeah.
Well, take us back to some of your fondest memories of the AIL then with Con, because you're a pretty successful team. But what are your standout memories?
I think. So the memory that definitely stands out in my head, and I made reference to Conrad there, was we had a final against St. Mary's a week or two after that, and it got delayed for another week or two post that as well. And we played Mary's in the final, and Mary's would have had people like Sexton playing and the likes of that. I think Kieran Potts would have been another player. So we played him in that final and we won it well, but I think just the whole emotion that surrounded that game, obviously with the passing of Conrad and everything, and as I was saying there, with Cork rugby being very, very small, everybody had a material touch point with Conrad, so it touched everybody, even if you were new to the club, it touched everybody dramatically. So I think that's probably the one that stands out most for me. And as you alluded to there was a fair few successful years. We did the double 1 year, and again, that stands out in your head. But in terms of a memory of AIL rugby, I think playing the games up in Coona and Thomond Park against Shannon, just because their supporters get so involved in the games. And equally, I'm somebody who loves to get involved with the supporters as well. So like thinking back, they're definitely the games that stand out over that time. It was
getting abuse up in Coona.
Yeah, 100%. But it was like good banter. You'd have a pint and people shake your hand in the bar afterwards and buy you a pint. Like, they're the type of memories you can never create again.
And what about the lads you played with then? Would you keep in touch with them much, or if you're ever home, would you?
So we have we have a WhatsApp group from that double winning team. So we're on that, and one of the guys, Evan Ryan, was trying to arrange a get together and meet up just around the start of COVID.
You're like, in Australia, please, in Australia.
yeah, I was hoping they were going to fly me home. Business class and everything. So we have that communication and that touch point with everybody. But as I said, Cork being so small, when you go back for Christmas, everybody's home from Dublin and the likes, and you bump into everybody all over again.
But that team is like yourself and Simon Zebo on the wing.
Yeah.
Evan,
Richie
as you
Lane.
said, Richie Lane. We were talking beforehand about Richie Lane. You don't see rugby players like Richie Lane very often anymore, do you? Like his legs are like about 5 foot long, and then
Yeah,
short
destined
little
for the
upper body.
catwalk.
Great character. Then you've Dara Lyons, you've Jeremy Manning,
Frank
Frank
Hogan, then in the back
Hogan,
row.
Peter O'Mahony, Stephen Archer, Ian Nagel, Brian Hayes. An unbelievable team he had.
Yeah, fairly stacked. And I remember it was very much the focus of the conversations around that time was Mary's very much committed to this sort of just playing their local lads, not really bringing back their development players. So it was a bit of a theme of that final in terms of how we had 6 or 7 development players. But I think that was just the nature of the league at that time, where we had that back and forth where there was a level of trust within the Munster side to send their players back into Con, and Con very much took them underneath their wing in terms of bringing them into the identity that they created. So it wasn't like we were bringing back all these superstars. They were very much added value in terms of what we built as a club and what we built as players.
Yeah. It was a great era for that. There was players that were there was a big connection between the clubs and the provinces. Well, I can only speak for Munster, and I felt it was always, if I wasn't playing for Munster the weekend, or if I was on the bench, I'd always get a game of Bows, and it was pretty seamless to slot in. How did you feel when you left, and did you feel like there's been a lot of talks of that connection has kind of gone, for a man who's played more AIL rugby than most? What are your thoughts on it now?
I must say I've lost touch with what the environment is like now. So I can only tell in terms of what I see, like the Con team lining out week to week and the development players coming back. So it doesn't look like it's lost that touch point and that involvement from the professional team into the amateur side. From my own personal perspective, I'd love to see them embrace it a lot more. I'm not too sure what that actually looks like. There's obviously better people out there that need to decide on what that actually looks like. But I always felt that the AIL was never given the credibility and the respect of where it sat in terms of developing these players. And, I watched your show an awful lot, and I very much get the team from the older players, how they respect the learnings they got out of the AIL and what that sort of rugby, how that shaped them. But whether that's still there now in terms of the newer players, whether they have that same sort of essence about what sort of rugby player they are now. But I think that could be done a bit better in terms of integrating the AIL as part of. Not too sure if it replaces this A league that they have, the B&I Cup, I think it's called. But I definitely think that there's a position there for the AIL to have a more material place within that bridge from amateur to professional.
Yeah, no, I think I agree. I think a lot of players. We had Benny Healy on a few weeks ago, and he talked about playing a number of games from Garryowen, and that was, I thought that was encouraging. And, the more these guys get up against seasoned guys that have been playing the game a long time, when these young fellas come out of school, or even players that develop late. Like I remember you coming into the Munster squad a good few times when you were probably, mid-20s, were you, at that time? And I think Kidney was brilliant.
I'd say 24, 25.
Yeah, when you hadn't come through the usual
pathway,
ranks. The pathway. And I think James Collin was someone who was similar. James was brought in at 24, 25. And we all know how successful he went on. And James and yourself, you learned how to win games of rugby by playing at the top level in your club and playing week in, week out. And I think there's so much to be said for that. I mean, is that how you felt when did you feel like, now I've been finally given an opportunity? Was it Decky that brought you in then?
No, it was actually Bix, Brian Hickey.
Yeah.
I sort of feel that you alluded to there in terms of being on the conveyor belt at an early age. And that very much is the system. That's very much where the material numbers of players that make it to the professional game come from. And it's obviously they need to focus on that. But I definitely feel that sort of late developer pathway just isn't there. They obviously have that sort of that scheme where they bring people in to train with the professional sides, during the Six Nation windows. So you get that exposure when you're in that late developer sort of token. But I definitely think they could do it better. I always felt it was sort of tokenism. It promotes the clubs when they were pushing players, but I never thought that there was a real commitment to it. That was just my own personal.
That's interesting.
And you made reference there in terms of the exposure that you get within the AIL, and one of the things that sort of stands out to me is it Duncan Stewart, I think was the name of an Ulster player. Not too sure. I think he was in the squad of the team that won the Heineken Cup, and he was playing with Malone. It's one of the standout memories I have of the AIL was he was just a brute of a man, took no prisoners, and I can remember just playing against them up in Malone, and he'd send you in the next week. Just a brute of a man. It really stands out to me.
Yeah. Oh, look, was that one of your favourite clashes? Like, did you ever actually get yourself in any trouble on the field by your cheeky ways?
Thankfully, I have 14 other players. Albeit, you made reference of being the most hated man in Ireland, but you have to think of my teammates. They had to play with me on Tuesday and Thursdays as well, so they hated me even more.
You wear it well. I remember actually he beat Bowes in the semi-final of the AAL in 2006 or 7, I think it was actually, and you scored an intercept try in the last minute of the game. And it was our one chance as a club to finally get to an AIL final, and last minute for you to score.
Yeah, we definitely didn't. Oh. We didn't deserve it.
Yeah, you're still hated in Bowes anyway.
Fergal Lawler was the 10.
Yeah, I think Edwin Torrey actually threw the pass.
Yeah,
because
it was actually
Kidney brought him into training with Munster on the Monday because I think he needed a bit of a pep up in his step. So. That was sound of him. Well, look, thanks a million for coming on, man. I think you've cleared it up.
He's great. We'll be telling everyone we'll be changing your reputation in Ireland. He's great.
Too late, I think.
Are you happily settled in Australia, or have you any plans to come home?
No, happy here. Have a baby due this day week.
Oh wow!
So so the first baby boy due. So it's going to be a complete change of lifestyle. I think I've got it into the oldest dads club anyway. But
I look forward to
next week onward.
I look forward to that kid's first day at mini rugby. Just shave the kid's head, pull his socks down.
I'm going to be that dad on the sideline.
Well, best of luck. Best of luck for the next week, man. That's unbelievable. Great, a great time for you in your life.
Yeah, congratulations.
And, a massive congrats. Yeah.
Cheers.
So look. Yeah, stay in touch. If your name, I'm sure, will crop up more and more on this show when we talk about AL in part 3. So,
hopefully in better terms.
Exactly. Yeah. Look, all the best next week, and thanks a million for joining us.
Cheers.
I really appreciate it, man.
Cheers, Cronan. Cheers, lads. Bye bye.